Good morning, YouTube peoples, friends and visitors. Hello, Kieran. I see some names I recognize. Everybody I recognize. We're going to hit some charts. Can somebody give me an okay on the audio? Make sure we're coming through. You see the screen. Hello, London. All okay? Good. It's a new microphone. This is the first time I'm so confident I'm using a new mic on a live YouTube day. All right, cool. We will start in a minute. We told them 5:30, 8:30. It's 5:30 a.m. Loud and clear. Awesome. If I'm too loud, let me know. I don't think so. This is a different type of mic. So I have on the screen the NASDAQ on purpose. All right, let's just get started. Good morning and welcome. We're going to do about an hour worth of chart, maybe 55 minutes or so we can get ready for the open. Awesome. So feel free to pop in tickers. I already have a few that were requested, but first I'm going to start with the indices. So if you're a member and you get my write-ups, you know that the strategy for this week is to not trust small rallies like yesterday. Use that to fix problems and to book fast profits. For example, if you bought calls and you got a rally, then you should have used it to exit, not seen the rally and then get calls for today. So that's what happened. So overnight we have a little dip. But if you're looking at my screen, I'm interested in seeing what happens to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ led the S&P into the breakout from the February highs. And I think it could be doing something else here today. So I put this red thing here to kind of visualize maybe if we get a pop. But if the NASDAQ rallies above yesterday's high, it has the opportunity to just take off and focus on Nvidia because it's the center point of this AI conversation. I have a sneaky suspicion they're going to try to do it again. I don't know if they can. Nvidia is going into earnings soon enough, so watch the NASDAQ, okay? Watch the NASDAQ. But still don't trust small rallies. You need a large rally before you can trust it. So this is the S&P futures, and if we do rally today, don't trust it unless we take out at least yesterday's high and the day before that. Carolyn, that's pretty cool. So watch out for today and play against S&P versus NASDAQ. Listen to the NASDAQ, trade the S&P to be safe. Listen to the NASDAQ, trade the S&P to be safe. Another thing I'm going to be watching today is fear. This is the VIX. Yesterday lost a little peg. Today is trying to take out a little peg for the bears. So I'm going to see how it behaves relative to yesterday's high, Friday's high, and Thursday's high. Yesterday, Friday, Thursday. If it continues to make lower highs and then by some chance make a lower low later this week, that would be another statement about body language. So that's the strategy. It's still the same. So the idea is to trade all the other stocks within that. Like if I wanted to go long stock ABC, I have to consider the fact that the market may be correcting. So how hard a correction? We've already talked about it a million times, right? So let's see here if we can visualize it. So this is the S&P. I'm going to go to daily chart. So this is the S&P daily. You can see there's no disaster yet. Cool. Even if they give out, if we consider this rally, halfway through is somewhere around 44.20, 44.15. This is SPX. And then 43, 40 something would get us down to here, which would be a resting point. If you want to give up the whole rally, you're going to have to go down to like 42.20. So somebody said today 42.20 before 4600. That's a gutsy statement, and I respect that. We'll see what happens. If we get to, I told them, if we get to 42.20, I would be loading up for another run higher. So I don't want to say he's wrong, but it's a solid statement. So I respect that. Okay, so now let's just jump into some stocks. Somebody asked right off the bat about SE. If you know my history with that stock, I had a trade that I shared to sell puts at 55 on its last dip from the last earnings report, and it just wouldn't stop falling. It finally, on this rally recently, I sent out a note saying, I'm out, exit for even or green or slightly red. I exited for even, but the trade was slightly green. A couple days ago, someone popped in and said they are still in it. What do they do? I said I would protect it if you don't want to close it. And hopefully they did that, because it's down 16% and now it's down here. Call me a glutton for punishment. I'm going to go see what they reported, because the company on paper is solid. I just need to know what they did. I don't have the information in front of me. I don't want to waste our time here. But I want to see if they are still growing and everything is solid. And if it's just a disappointment, I might be tempted to do another run of puts. I mean, at some point, it's going to shake out all the froth. Clearly, those who chased it up here, oh my God, goodness, were wrong. I want to know that this is not another version of Upstart. Like Upstart's fundamentals have completely changed. How about this one? So I'm open. Okay, I'm open. Another one that was in talks this morning is Nvidia. It sounds like there's another round of talks about AI, how wonderful it is. And that's why Nvidia is up 2% pre-market and up whatever it was, 7%. So it's up almost 9%, if not more, in 2 days. So stock ABC going up into a prior fail. If it goes out of 455, it may get to 480. There's somebody that's short Nvidia, naked short, and I was helping him yesterday. I told him to buy calls to stop the bleeding. So if you're naked short Nvidia, the first thing I would do is stop the bleeding, even at the risk of missing out. What does that mean? Let's say I spend $2,000 protecting my short, and then it drops. So be it. At least I did the right thing and I protected myself. So I wouldn't leave anything to chance. This guy defies the laws of gravity. I want to take a bearish position for the earnings, but it'll be just a set number of dollars for the event, and that's it. I don't disagree with the fundamentals. I disagree with the speed of expectations. We'll see. They will report earnings in about 8 days. I'm extremely interested to see what they deliver in sales. They promised the moon. If they deliver the moon, I think the stock will fall. They need to deliver Mars, not just the moon. We'll see how that plays out. But in the meantime, it may help the whole market levitate again like it did a few months ago. It's the new Tesla. Yeah, except fundamentally you would argue that actually it is a good comparison. It's in a relatively new field. It is leading the competition. It is a darling of everybody on Main Street and Wall Street. That's a good comparison. I have some smart people in here. High five. Speaking of high fives, 18 likes. What's up with that? All right, so let's see here. I have a set of tickers that I usually watch in the morning. This week, I've been watching Chipotle. A lot of people want to go long Chipotle, but they haven't yet. So let's see. I'm trying to be as patient as possible. So from a trading perspective, now we have a box. I have a bunch of lines, but I want you to pay attention to this box I'm going to draw. Hi, Lori. I love it. Okay, so this box, it tells me these are edges that I think will activate something this week. So if you lose the lower edge, which is yesterday's pre-open or early morning low, you might end up on the first level of support, 1780. Now, I'm a fan of the company. I'm just looking for a place to go long. And the options are not very liquid, so be careful how you go long. Okay? Don't be too brave with it. And the bid and ask are kind of wonky, so make sure you know what you're doing with that. ALB, to be honest, I don't know the fundamentals real well, but on paper it looks fantastic. So almost like PayPal, like Square, like SE. On paper, the fundamentals are awesome. Why is it falling off a cliff like it's going out of business? So this is where I would stop, look around, and look for potholes that I don't know, that I'm not seeing right now. So I should ask people. All right. How many people do we have here? 44, 45 people? Awesome. So I'm looking at some good names. Hey, CIA, Shawnee was here first, or one of the first people. Larry, Kieran, Pratik, are you here? Yep. Lori. Cool. I appreciate you coming here. By the way, if you're not a member, these are people that are in the live room together all day, every day. We have about 280 people. Contact us. You can be one of them. Hell yeah, I'm here. All right, so hit me with tickers. Roblox was also interesting of late. So basically, let me clue you in on the strategy I have. My assumption is that snow will get the snow. My assumption is that the market is still in the hands of the bulls. We are buying dips on a longer term basis since the October low. So within those ideas, I'm looking for tickers to go long on dips. So that's why I'm looking at these tickers. I'm not looking to chase momentum. All right, so this is not the right environment for it. Unless you're trading inside the day, in and out, it's not the right momentum. So here's snow. It looks like it's going along. Okay, so this one is coming along the descending channel up until it hits support. So let's see if we can find where that support is. So short-term support, it's yesterday. Longer term, it's from the last earnings report. If you force me, I would go long the stock and have stops. In fact, I was long the stock, and it expired last week for maximum gains. I will add it again to my list of stocks to trade here. All right. I'm trying to say hi to everyone, but it's hard to look up there and try to do tickers. So don't feel left out. I appreciate each and every one of you. PayPal. Let's hit some tickers. I would go long. I am long. I sold a put or a put spread. I'm pretty sure it was a put spread to participate. I wanted to go long Square, and I wanted to go long PayPal. I prefer how Square trades every once in a while, so I split the risk between both. I didn't take the same trade in this one and that one. I split the amount of money I wanted to risk between both. I think fundamentally they're good. They tell me this this company has a new CEO, but that's the rumor that's been going around, and I really don't care who's leading the company if it's not a high profile person like Elon Musk is so intertwined with this company. So I'm not so concerned with that headline. The company's on rails, everybody uses it, and I use it all the time. So I look at the financials, and if the financials are not telling me anything bad, I still trust it. And look at it, it's pretty solid with the sales, margins, profits, cash, valuation. It's not expensive. Look at it. So I don't care who's leading the company. It's doing well as it is. It's a matter of perception. Right now, 64 is a problem area. If they clear it, they might be able to get to 67 or 66, one step at a time. First step, put a floor. Stop making lower lows. So for here, for PayPal, I would watch for 64 or higher before it goes and makes a lower low than yesterday. That would be step one. So 64 or higher before it makes a lower low than yesterday. Okay. SMCI. I'll get all the tickers, I promise, for as long as time allows. Okay, so it fell on earnings. We looked at it in the live room several times. I wouldn't mind catching this falling knife, except when I zoom out. That is not, I mean, what is this? I don't like the base. So yes, short-term support into 220. The whole zone from here to 220, super strong support. What about this hole at 180? When will it go there? It will go there. I have never seen a chart like this before, or Nvidia. Eventually they will go there. So if you're trading, yeah, you can pop in and out inside the support zone. If you're investing for the long term, I would implore you to take partial positions so you can add in case it goes to 180 or 170. So I wouldn't short it, but I wouldn't go all in either. Let's see here. Tesla. What do they do? Never heard of it. Tesla of late. Are you looking for Tesla today or Tesla in general? If it's in general, it's going along a path we laid out, that green line. It is a bullish path, but you have to be aware of short-term limits. So yesterday we discussed it. It had a problem around 241, 245. Into 245, there's going to be sellers. Into 252, there are going to be sellers. So here's my opinion. If I'm long and I get a rally into 245 and that fixes my problem, I would get out and readdress it. If I get to 252, bigger level to pay attention. So make sure you don't start longs into these big levels. Start them when they fall away from those, just in case, so that you don't end up chasing late. That's the problem that most people make, I think. They look at it, and when they decide to jump in because they feel better about it, they get stuck. So you can see it visually. Every prior fail for the last couple weeks has been in the hands of the bears. They're selling rallies. Look, rally sold, rally sold, rally sold. You see it? So at some point, they will stop making lower lows. That hasn't happened yet. So if we lose 234, 233 and a half, don't be surprised to see us below 230, for example. Okay. Hello. IRM. I don't know what the IRM is. Okay, so if somebody is long a stock and is wondering if they should book profits, revisit the reason why you took the longs and decide whether you've had enough. So every person is different. Me, I don't have a problem booking profit. This particular chart looks like it could come back to 58 or 57 in the next 3 months. If you want to avoid that, then get out. If you invested in it for the super long term, stay in it. Take half, leave some runners. You don't have to always be all in or all out. Okay, so hopefully that helps you out. Let me know if it doesn't. Indiana, nice. So let's see here. Hi, Broke Boy. XAU USD. What is that? Oh, ooh. So it better hold, because if not, it's going down 3%, 3.5%, and that might be a big deal. But here's the good news: if you do get that dip, you can try longs for another pop. So it looks like they're starting to sell rallies here. The question is, will they make a lower low before they pop again? And if they make a lower low, I can almost guarantee you a drop of 2.5 to 3%. So that's the deal there. All right, let's go. A few other stocks I was looking at this week: Disney, Pinterest, Penn. DigitalOcean, not sold on it. Snow, somebody just recommended it. ALB, Roblox, Crocs, believe it or not, it's starting to look good. Fundamentally solid performance, regardless of what you think of their shoes. So it's a matter of finding footing somewhere. And that somewhere could be $4 below. So the method with which I would catch this falling knife would be to sell risk below and not buy calls or buy shares. AI, okay. Are you asking for AI or is this Alabama? Let's go with AI. So I'm not a fan of this company, but you can't short it because of the headline that's underlying. Everybody's talking about a buyout. What if it doesn't come? I have a sneaky suspicion it could be at 24 before 42. So technically, it could rally to 38. 36 first, resistance there, 38 possible. But if it loses Friday's low, it will end up 28, 27. So this arrow might still be in play. That hump might be this whole big thing. So they're fighting for support. So if I were to adjust it, I would make it this way to put the visual in it. So yeah, it could pop, but the danger still lies at that level. And if they lose it, they will end up here in a series of lower highs and lower lows. If you like what you're seeing here, I would appreciate it if you just hit the like button, not to be obnoxious about it. The group is insanely helpful during the day. We look through a whole bunch of charts, so I know they appreciate it. Just tell the other people that are watching this video in hindsight. That would be nice. Okay, so we can do more of these. How about that? So C3, the fundamentals, it's up to you. I don't like the P&L. Look at the P&L, bottom right-hand corner of my screen. Hopefully you can see it. The sales line, the revenue line is just as big as the losses line. You'd like to see some discrepancy there. Like Palantir loses money, or at least used to lose money, but it wasn't 1-to-1. It was a little bit better than this. So I don't want to short the company, but be careful chasing. Technically, you could make some money, but I would caution you to stop out below Friday's low. Hi, Christopher. New Hampshire, cool. Okay, so I'm looking for tickers. Verizon was, it had some headline last couple of days. That was a stock we recommended on the dip several times, and it played out as a trading stock, and it's not. The idea was to get a stock that pays dividend really well, and that one pays a lot of dividend, a very profitable company. The cash situation is solid. So the idea of them needing to cut the dividend is not going to be there without a really nasty change in the whole world. So under the assumption that the world is still fine, Verizon is a stock to hold, not to buy calls. Just buy the stock if you want fixed income. So interest income. It definitely beats the inflation rate increase. So it's a good substitute to putting your money in the bank. Decent. So clearly it's a stock, still risky. All right. How are we doing? Let me know how are we doing. If we're doing a good job, let me know. FRCB, I'm a proud owner of shares of FRCB. I don't want to talk about it. It's the company failed. The stock failed, I should say. And Wall Street pulled a fast one on us, and they stuck us. Thank you, Lori. Appreciate it. Earnings after hours. Are you sure about that? Because traded at 4 cents. Yeah, I saw the tick down there. I'm not paying attention. I own 100 shares, and it's money I lost. So we'll see what happens with it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so give me tickers. Come on. I don't want to force my tickers on you. This is for you. This is for you. We have 30 minutes to kill. Give me tickers. Yesterday I looked at Pepsi. What's it doing today? Down a little bit. Okay, not too bad. AMD, we can look at AMD. Beto. Beto and Clover and SoFi and Home Depot. All right, we got tickers. We'll go in order. AMD. Let's see here. So I like the range in AMD. I like the fact that it's been fighting headlines and market-wide scares. But what I don't like is the uncertainty going into 8 days from now, Nvidia's report. There's no doubt that whatever happens to Nvidia stock is going to happen to AMD stock. So if I were you, I would leave some dry powder. So if I'm looking to get long AMD, however I do it, buy shares, buy calls, sell puts, and whatever, I would make it half a position, because what happens is when Nvidia reports, AMD is going to move big time, up or down, I have no idea. I'm going to bet down, but it's a blind bet. I'll change my mind before then. Just because of the human factor, I think the expectations from Nvidia's report are huge. It would have to report something record-breaking that we haven't seen from any other company ever before for them not to be disappointed. So hopefully I'm wrong, but in case I'm not, I would not go all in AMD. I would leave room to add later. Okay, we have AMD, Clover, Beto. Beto, you know, guys, I'm long. If you don't know this, Beto represents the price of Bitcoin. It's an ETF that tracks Bitcoin futures. So Wall Street introduced the futures on Bitcoin, which made Bitcoin somewhat organized, and so they don't lose billions. They have to control the price action, and they do rig the game. But you see here how it looks like it's making higher highs and higher lows inside of a very wide ascending channel. So I would not be surprised to see it above 20. I am long. My entry price is under 9. I shared it with the group, and we've been rewarded with a nice dividend, although it's not a consistent dividend player, so careful what you do with that information. I'm long. It has a higher low, and I'm looking to see if it can break out of 17 or 17 and a half. If so, I think it gets to 20, 21 over time. It's an investment for me. I own shares. I don't own calls. I could sell puts to own shares, but I'm fine with my position. I haven't added in a while. I'm happy with it the way it is. All right, so we'll look at Clover. Clover, I own shares outright from under $1. I shared it with the gang, and my thesis is very simple. Is it fake or is it not? And I'm thinking, if they're not breaking the law, it's not fake, and it's a $3 billion business. So I went long a $3 billion business for under $1 a share, and I haven't closed them. We'll see if it breaks above that spike of 1.63. I guess from a trading perspective, I can trade in and out, but let's see what happens. It was a speculative bet on my part, so we'll see how it plays out. So far, so good. The trade is very profitable, clearly. It's almost a double, and it's straight up shares. SoFi is a company we've traded on the long side and made good money with it. I exited early on a double or triple or quadruple. I can't remember, but I definitely did not catch the top. It's back on the radar. But you know what? I would rather trade something like Square, because it's not tied to headlines from the government as much. Like this one is tied to student loans or whatever. And I don't want to get sucked up in it. Technically, it's falling into a base. But technically, if you zoom out a little bit more, that base is high in the stratosphere. So there is a scenario that brings it back to 7. So I have an alert here, and I should add another alert down here. So the alert is at 7.7-ish, which is the low from June. And if they lose that, I think they go to 7 or 6.8. At which point I would be tempted to re-engage. But if you didn't chase it, good job. And if you're getting long in here, leave room to add more later in case that happens. Again, it might get there because the market falls and not it. All right? Okay. US 30, you're asking for what What are we asking for here? The Dow or the 30-year? Okay, let me know. Yell. What is yellow again? Yellow. What is this? What does that do? Transportation. All right, whatever it is this like Zim? If it is, I don't want any part of it because that whole industry is pretty whacked out. There you go, trying to butter me up. That's better than a like. That's a real like. Okay, so this company is falling into support, but the support could extend to under $1. So I don't know what to do with this because I don't know the company well. If you do, there is a level of interest at 1.2 and another one at 1, and then the better entry point would be 0.85, 0.9. A pop into 1.8, I would exit from a trading perspective. SE, we already talked about it. I'm interested. I haven't looked at the report, so I'm going to see what they said. I'm concerned about sales. If sales are good, if profitability is good, then somebody could try to catch the falling knife. I mean, the company has a pretty good P&L. Unless the P&L fell off a cliff, I would sell puts to own shares. I wouldn't. If I own the company, I would not add. If I'm looking to own the company, I would take partial position or sell puts. Selling puts is would help you get into a position, but with leaving room for error. Okay. AYX. We haven't talked about AYX in a long time. Alteryx. It looks like it fell off a cliff. Ooh. Okay, so you're going to have to do homework on it. Companies that do that usually have a reason. So the chart is not going to help you a lot, except to tell you short term, okay, we have a bottom at 27, but how much help is that? Gaps like this, gaps this big, they're very enticing, but they could be pretty bad traps. So find out why this happened fundamentally, if there's a reason. If there isn't, then if you're long, there's nothing to do. I wouldn't add. If you're getting the idea to get long, leave room for error. So don't go all in just in case it takes another step lower. There's no support except what you see on my screen. Below that, it's open season. Don't know the company. Middle of the range. Doesn't take a lot to say that we're stuck between what is this company? We're stuck between super solid support and super solid resistance. Take out the support, you're going to get down to 26.5. Take out the resistance, you're going to get down to 30, get up to 31.5. It's technically, that's the easy comment. Stuck in a range, breach the edges of the range, will take another step in that direction of about the same size of the range. So I gave you 31.5, 31.6 upside target if they can take out this. So how do I handle this? If I want to anticipate things, I would take a long and decide I would stop out if this happens or that happens. So, so that's the case of trading versus investing. As an investor, do your homework, and there's nothing special about an entry here, except, take a partial entry and manage it over time. Listen, the markets are near all-time highs. Yes, we are near all-time highs. It's by no means a place where I should load up on anything, not even in companies like Microsoft. They're great, but there's no indication that the market can be here for a long time. And if the market in general corrects, everything corrects. Okay. Why is the P&L looking so decent and the stock cannot hold the floor and keeps making lower low? This is a rhetorical question, but you need to answer that for yourself. If I'm long the stock, I will exit if it goes below 11.7 because I don't know how low it wants to go. I literally don't. There's nothing here. So having said that, it's worth a shot as a trade. So I get long, I stop out if it doesn't work. And if it does work, maybe I get an upside of $1 or $2. There's going to be a problem into 14.5 and another problem into 16. So keep those levels in mind. If I'm long, it's against the low, and I would stop out because I don't know what's below it, and resistance into those levels I just mentioned. Shopify, I'm long. I sold puts or put spreads on the dip, and I looked at the P&L, nothing crazy. In fact, I think that might be it. They grew sales 30%, and profitability also was better, and so there were no alarms. So the dip was based on disappointment. So I went long against support. It has a chance of getting to 61, 60, 61, but I don't need the rally to make money. I just need it not to collapse. I have backup support. So choose the method by which you go long. It's not always buying shares. And most definitely, please never make it a buy an all-in position, okay? So leave room to add, to manage the trade. Leave room to add. That's what I would do. I'm not giving you advice, but I'm giving you good methods, moderation methods. Whatever we think we know about the market, we should knock our conviction down a little bit because we don't know what the fudge is happening in the real world. It's a mess out there. So not to get political, it is a mess. So anything can literally happen. We have no idea. So just be ready for the disaster scenario, even though it may not come. So S is an interesting ticker, pretty wild. You can see that you can look at a chart and you see how jagged it is to know that it's prone to some crazy stuff. 15.6, big problem, big catalyst if they take it out. 15.6 right there. You take that out, you get to 16.4 versus the support that they've been defending so well. But here's the problem. You lose 14.4, you're going to end up 13.4 with a lot of support at 14 and change. So you lose this recent bounce, you will end up targeting much lower prices, like much lower, but you have one last chance to hold 14.2. If it's going into earnings, and yeah, it is 16 days, be careful around the earnings. Okay, so if I'm invested, I would leave some dry powder. If I own shares and I want to keep them with confidence, I should protect myself with some relatively cheap puts temporarily. Okay. How are we doing? Pretty good? Let me know with a thumbs up and in the comments. I did not restrict the comments, so everybody's free to give us feedback, because the only way we get better is if you tell us, oh, I wish you had done this, or I wish you had done that. And we will make these much better for us. Shopify, S, IEP, is that icon? Not a fan. I don't like to trade stocks that have the name of a person in them, especially when really he is the company and he is up in age. What if he decides to retire? So I don't like that. As a stock, you have a solid floor around 20. Lose that floor, you end up at 12. Not my opinion. I'm looking at the chart action. They're selling rallies. It fell off a cliff, whatever happened back here. And what's it? It could definitely fell off another cliff. So big lines, 36, 18. Those are big lines. Relatively big line, 20.5. You lose that tick, the last earnings low, you may end up below 20, like below 16 even. Be careful. Look at that. Everybody's enticing everybody else. I love it. Hey, Kamal. Okay, is this my Kamal? You owe me a message if it's my Kamal. OIH, CVX, CVS. I see what you're trading there. OIH. Oil is on a tear, which should scare everybody in the world. In the US, gas is very expensive. My son got rid of his diesel last night. He comes home with a brand new truck, not a brand new truck, with a new truck. I was like, what happened? He finally got rid of the diesel. Yes, it's $7 a gallon over here in California, the diesel. So that's happy. Fiscal responsibility hit him. So OIH, technically, I expect a dip, but it's a bullish chart, higher lows and higher highs. So if you are short oil, you get a dip, use that to get out. because the whatever is going on in the rhetoric in oil, it is bullish. There is support at 320. Support is at 320, and if we fall there, so you could drift to 310, but I think there will be buyers. They will attempt it. This chart tells you it's going to go to 290-ish. It's a tall fall, so it would need a headline of sorts. Okay, so if you're short, use the weakness to fix your short position. If you're looking to short, you can, but make it a trade. So if somebody's looking to short this responsibly, when I say short, I don't mean selling short. I don't condone that. I mean buying a put, selling call spread or something finite. It is shortable with responsibility, in a responsible way. Just like oil is breaking out, this guy has the opportunity to break out. I would bet against it, but I'm not shorting any stocks from the oil sector. These are great companies, have great management, have solid income streams. The only beef I have is that they don't control their sales. They don't have pricing power. They go with the flow. Whatever is happening to the price of oil dictates how much money they make. So the PE looks one way until it completely changes in an instant. If we have a crash in oil prices, their PE completely goes out of whack. They're good, they will adjust, but I'm not sure the investors are good to adjust themselves too. So let me see here. This happened. Maybe this happens. You see how I did this? This is prior behavior that happened before. I copied it. I'm going to copy it again. So we'll change the color so we know that. Let's make it yellow. Maybe this happens. Maybe it has a date with 160, 162. Maybe. Okay. Same comments I make about Exxon. And by the way, you can trade those two via the XLE, because both of these are about half the XLE. CVS, Bill, are you here? Bill. Somebody's asking about CVS. So CVS caused a lot of grief for a couple of people in our room. They got stuck. They got assigned shares, but they brilliantly managed it by selling calls. It was tough. They asked for a lot of questions. They did homework. It was a lot of heartaches, but I think they did okay in the end. The company's fine. The P&L is fine. Something happened and it couldn't stop falling, and now it looks like it's recovering in a nice ascending channel. Look at this gift they gave you. They just gave you the field of play. Don't expect the breakout from the 77, 78, and don't expect losing 72.5 anytime soon without real good reason. And if it does, it's an entry point. So it's a decent business. Forget what you see on Instagram. Just trade the P&L in front of you. Look at their financials. They're solid. So if I own shares, I would sell covered calls. I would still be in them. If I'm looking to own shares, I'll do it on dips. It's doable. ISRG, boy, we haven't talked about ISRG in a long time. All right, we have about 10 minutes. I'm going to try to go as fast as possible. If I'm long ISRG, I'm okay. I do have the opportunity to get to 315, 320 slowly. I do have a lot of resistance in the way, so be careful with your expectations. Okay, so look at that solid floor. This company, I've traded it successfully in the past. I haven't traded it since it split. I liked the big dollars I was trading because for bigger accounts, it's easy to make money with it. But now it's more attainable. This is a pretty big pop, so be careful. If for whatever reason they lose the 295, 290 area, they could end up in the 265, 270 area. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put an alert down here in case it goes there ever again. On a market crash or something, I would sell puts to own shares. Good company, P&L's fine. Technically you have a swing available as long as you hold the low. So how do I play this? If it dips into 300, I would get long for the opportunity to swing back up. So assume it's going to do this, okay? And somewhere here, you don't have to time it perfectly. You get long with a stop. The stop is if we lose the floor, we may end up much lower. So stop out quickly, so not because it's a trade rather than an investment, it's a swing trade. And if they do that, then you may end up here, and then you would be long from here to here. So swing trade opportunity. It's pretty good. NEO. I'm going down as fast as I can. So let's see here. The NEO proposition I'm no longer involved in. I used to trade it. I don't do it anymore. I don't know anything about the Chinese political or I don't know enough about China's economy and politics to trust any Chinese stocks. So it's hard enough to trade these stocks inside of the US market. It's a lot harder to do it in a market you don't know. So if you're an expert, if you're an expert in that area, then trade it. Meanwhile, I don't like the P&L as much. They sell a lot of cars, but I prefer to trade Tesla. That's the only profitable EV company out there. So be careful. Technically, you do have support, but it's under 11 and a half. Personally, I would not get engaged in it until under 11 and a half. Look at the volume. There's nothing up here. This spike was done on no volume recently, and there's a lack of volume around 1150. So maybe they dip into 1150, and then I would trade it then. Home Depot, I thought I did it. Maybe not. It's too high. It's too high for me. The company is on rails, so it's one of those things like if you twist my arm to trade Home Depot, I would sell a call spread, which is shorting the company very gently though. But I don't want to do that because it's a successful company. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 6th attempt to break out of this zone. They all ended up in tiers. 7. So the buyers in this area from here to 340 have lost money for a while since last April, not this April, last April 2022. So I don't want to be the hero this time. Buy the dip in Home Depot, and this dip here is not big enough. I would rather get engaged in it somewhere under 3. Look, I have my alerts at 317 to start looking. If you lose the low from 323, I think you end up at 317, Home Depot. Enphase, I'm long. Walmart and Target, I'm not going to cover because they report earnings. So whatever I tell you is not going to be much help. If we have time, I'll do them in the end. I'm going to leave some time to close with the indices. So because it's important, if you didn't catch the beginning, that's what drives everything, right? What are the indices doing? Enphase, I'm long on the dip. This is what my 5th position for us. And this time I sold puts in 2 tranches. They're both fine. One is green, one is flattish. So knock on wood, it's going to hold up. I left a lot of room for error. So selling puts, if you don't know what that is getting long a stock and saying, I don't need a rally to win. Okay, it doesn't make a 4x or a 6x or a 2x, but it does make consistent cash. If you're interested in that style of trading, hit me up. Join the group. Reach out in the notes section saying, hey, how the hell do I join my group? Speaking of joining, are you in Texas this coming week? We have a seminar in person. We might have an extra few seats. If you want to join us, reach out in the comment section. It's somewhere around DFW airport. So easy to get to. We're going to have about 35 people. It's going to be insane. You will get access for 6 months for the service, including a Discord with TradyTix. So Enphase, I'm long and I'm staying long. Now, technically, if you lose 131, you will end up in the 120s, 124, 122. And that would still be fine for my trade. I would still survive that. Comfortably survive that. Famous last words. X. I bought puts in X yesterday. I may lose money on them, but it's a speculative bet that the rumors of buyouts this and buyout that. I have a feeling this is going to be like Yahoo. They had a huge buyout offer and they said, no, we're looking for better. And they end up with nothing. So let's see. The business is not growing and somebody offered them the moon and they said, no, we want the stars too. We'll see if they're right. I just bought puts. So, and it's a finite amount of money I spent. If I lose all of it, I'd be fine. This is how I'm trading it. CLF is the opposite. I was looking to get long CLF. It dipped and I didn't have the opportunity to get long. With the rally after the fact yesterday, because they're the other side of that rumor for X, the letter X. So if it was under 14, I would say I would take longs because it was on my radar anyway. And then it fell. I was like, cool, let's jump in. And then the market opened, it's up 8%. I'm like, nope, not going to do that. So I let it go. All right, we'll do Walmart. Walmart is not very exciting to use options on, so I would not sell options in Walmart. On dips, I would get long. The company's fine. It's the largest private employer on the planet. You have to respect it. I'm looking to see what it tells me about the retail investor in the US. And I'm going to look into their sales from the US. I'm interested to see if they say the same thing as Amazon. If not, I'm going to be worried about the US because the consumer spending is 2/3 of the economy, so they say. Technically, 158 is pretty good pivot point. So if it gets to 158 or lower, I'm interested in getting long Walmart. So I'm going to put an alert here. It's a pivot point. All right, Target. Don't trade the headlines from Instagram, okay? Trade the P&L from Target. It's a great company financially. It is already a buying opportunity here into this base, but it's going into earnings. Trade the earnings as a lottery ticket. If you're dying to be long Target with 100 shares, I would buy 20. If you're buying calls, I would buy. If I'm spending $2,000 to take a bullish position on Target, I would spend $200, $300, $400 to protect that position for the headline of the earnings, because we don't know what's going to happen. We can debate that. 5 more minutes. Okay. I don't know. What is BioR? Therapeutics. So these stocks are not good for options because they're unpredictable. Selling options, they're unpredictable. Every day is a headline day. The fact that it has no revenue and all spending, so you need to really study the company. I don't think the chart's going to help you. Now, if I was talking about a normal company, I would tell you 350 loss was very costly and it may end up at 250. But what's going to happen now is rallies are going to be sold. If this was a normal stock, I would tell you that rallies into 350s will be sold and it will make a lower low. And then it will rally to 320 and then it will make a lower low until it finds support it likes. And it looks like that support is 2.8. So that's BioR. But I don't know it, okay? I really don't know it. I appreciate all the likes. We didn't have as many people as before here today because we last minute, let's do it. So hopefully we will get back on the schedule of doing these once or twice a week. And I love having you here. Some members and some non-members. If you're not a member, feel free to say hi and feel at home, because our members are awesome. They're awesome. They hang out all day. 280, 300, 270. And we have 142 sitting in the chat room right now. Some of them are here, some of them are not. So join the group. And if you want to take a peek, just hit us up in the comment section. Okay, what else do we have? Did I miss a ticker? I think I hit everything. I should have kept the list. Oh, TTD. The trade desk. It had a spill, didn't it? Yep. So use that violent reaction as your exit point to your longs. Or go long against that support. So tradable, but expect a lot of sellers at 77, 76 even. But the question is, if it gets to 76 and they sell it, how low they go. If it's a higher low, then you're making progress. And you can tackle each problem area at a time. Doesn't look like it's crazy bad, so it's definitely tradable. But you should also zoom out and know that there's a weak volume spot somewhere around 70. Look left. Hey, look left. Where have I heard that before? Okay, so I'm going to do the indices because I think it's going to take up the rest of the afternoon. I did Nvidia already. Just be careful, Nvidia. Be careful shorting it. Be careful it's going into the earnings. AHT. Why don't I remember what that is? That's why. Okay, so Hospitality Trust. That might be a dividend play. I'm not sure. That's a horrific chart. So 340 is a huge problem area. 320 is also because it was a base, and now it's probably a roof. So I would split the difference. 3.3 is a big, big problem area versus the low that they've set before. So you have a base, but you also have a problem at 3.3. What do I think of VIX October calls? Do you get my morning write-ups? Every day I say if I need protection, I buy VIX calls. And today I switched it from September to October. So what do I think of it from a shorting the market, I don't like it. From a protection, I do like it. The VIX I use for protection. I don't use to trade the VIX. It's manipulated. It's hard to make money in it. Even when you time it perfectly, they steal your money somehow. So be careful. As a protection, it's a very good, easy blanket to cover. It holds up better than buying puts in something and hoping for the best. Oh, wait. Somebody's asking for the dollar. Dixie. So I don't trade currencies. The dollar is stuck against prior fails, so I would anticipate some weakness, but it should have pretty good support within reach. So I would expect, if you're trading against it, book your profits, because it does have support if you're trading against the dollar. So, all right, let's finish up with the indices. I'm going to put it here to show you and tell you what I've been telling members. The plan for this week, by the way, we have the video, go review it, about the week plan. The weekly plan is to use small rallies, 1%ish, like yesterday. It was 1% from the bottom to the high. To exit, fix, book, not to chase, not to start chasing. But if we go up more than 2%, you can assume that the bears are back on their back foot. So that's the S&P. What you need to focus on is the NASDAQ today, because the NASDAQ has relative strength thanks to Nvidia and the chatter about AI again. How will they be able to make it? I don't know. I mean, they just fell for it, the bears. So will they be blindsided? If the NASDAQ breaks out of yesterday's highs, that's almost like a huge setback for the bears. And so pay attention to it. And I want strength in the IWM. I don't want the IWM to go down below 190 by too far. Like right now it's below it. Yesterday it shrugged it off and got back above it. So I want to see the IWM at 191.50 to start breathing better, more comfortably. Focus on the NASDAQ and what it does against yesterday. Don't chase small rallies in the S&P. So those are the indices. That's what I'm working with this week. And if I'm going long stocks, I'm leaving room to add. If you buy shares, don't go all in. If you buy calls, don't go all in, and use time. Don't be cheap. Don't buy shit calls. Buy calls that have high deltas. Not all the way in the money, but close to the money would be good. Me. Wait. I may have cut off. OBS is telling me I got cut off. Weird. That's never happened before. Okay. We'll see. Hopefully it didn't get cut off. It said it reestablished connection. So have a plan, have friends, and you would not make easy mistakes. It's done. We're done. All right, folks. I'm going to rudely say bye. I will post this video later today as soon as it becomes available from YouTube.